Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including Infinity Train, which we'll be getting into right now. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Michelle Anderer.
Hello.
Alex Bonilla.
Choo choo!
Sam Quattro.
Hi.
And Sarah Potter.
Hello.
Yes, the Infinity Train premiere happened tonight, Saturday, July 20th. The episode premiered at the Infinity Train Comic-Con panel earlier today, and then Cartoon Network did a live stream of the premiere on their YouTube, which they had a 6-hour countdown for, and then it happened, and we saw the first episode. As of this recording, Cartoon Network has not put it up on the app, but I assume that will happen at some point. If not, it will premiere on TV in August, or you can look for it in other places. So the Infinity Train premiere, we're extremely excited. Highly anticipated series premiere. The pilot came out a few years ago, and it was very popular online. We loved it here, and we've been anticipating the show premiering ever since. And yeah, so the first episode's here. Then the first 5 episodes are going to roll out in the first week of August, once a day on actual Cartoon Network. Make sure you've seen this, although we'll give, there's not spoilers. So if you want to hear our overall takes on the premiere, then you can listen to the beginning of this. But check out overlyanimated.com for our future, and subscribe there, or youtube.com/overlyanimated for our future Infinity Train coverage or our other animated show discussion. Okay, big premiere. A lot of people reacting. What were your reactions while watching it, and what are your overall thoughts, Alex?
I will say, I don't know what else you can ask for a premiere of a show, honestly. I think that this is one of the best premieres to a series that I've seen, because it begins very quickly in terms of setting up the character of Tulip, giving you some emotional feels. Then we go right into the premise of the show. In the middle, we somehow have time for a bunch of action sequences. We throw in some very mysterious imagery going on. You get a little bit of the comic relief in one. I think that it managed to do so much in 11 minutes that I was taken aback by just how fast it all happened and how well it was all executed. So I really loved this. I'm a little biased because I have been hyped for Infinity Train since we had the pilot come out on YouTube so many years ago, and it's wow, this finally exists. But I want to try taking my goggles off, my hype goggles off, but at least right now, to me, this feels like the best you could ask for in terms of introducing a show to somebody, just setting up everything quickly. It's okay, I know who this is, I know what they're going through. Here's some mystery to keep me hooked. So I think that this is an excellent way to start a show.
Wow. Okay. Strong positive reaction from Alex. Sarah, do you share in that reaction?
Yeah, I really like this premiere. I really enjoyed Tulip. I really enjoyed what we saw of her friendship with Michaela, and I hope that Michaela comes back because their friendship was really cute. And I really, really, I just really liked the back. We spent more time than I was expecting outside the train. I really liked the way we framed her relationship with her parents and how it was pretty complex I wasn't expecting that amount of complexity with her parents' relationship. And then we got to this fun train stuff with these really weird concepts, and I really enjoyed that. So I don't know, this is exactly what I want from this type of show. We have a plot here. We have a clear, at least to the audience, there's a clear thing that needs to be done, I think. And it just looks like it has momentum. The show has momentum, and I enjoy that a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. A lot of momentum going into the next episodes for sure. Sam, what did you think of the Infinity Train premiere?
So I wasn't super duper hype on it. It's classic Sam, ever the pessimist. I was well, I'm not too super duper interested. It just seems kind of typical fantasy. I didn't really expect there to be much realism that, I could put my tendrils into and enjoy as I tend to do. But I was honestly pleasantly surprised. I think there's a lot here for everybody, no matter what kind of shows that you like. I mean, I got a lot of the realistic sort of interpersonal relationship drama stuff, even from like the beginning first 5 minutes. And I was super on board from there on. And, you know, 1-1, he's really funny and really cute. And let me just say, Ashley Johnson, amazing voice actress. We love her. Does wonderful as Tulip. I can't wait to see more of the show.
Wow, can't wait to. That's a very positive reaction.
Yeah, no, this is incredible.
If you're first time listening, that's extremely positive reaction. Okay, Michelle, who was asked to go last, what are your?
It's complicated.
Okay, tell me your complicated thoughts.
So I work in the Atlanta office at Cartoon Network, and when it's been kind of interesting. So this particular show, when the last big Steven Universe #leap happened last spring, Steven and Infinity Train were kind of put on special cautionary locked awayness, even in our own personal servers. So this is actually the first I'm seeing of this show too, but I had heard a lot of people's like opinions and thoughts about it, just snippets for the past like year and a half, but I never got to actually watch the show. So I like didn't know how I was going to feel about it. I'm really happy that all of you are so hype on it, because I will say, like, you are more or less kind of the target audience, which is very unusual for cartoon. I think they're aiming for teenagers and young adults, and you're all certainly young adults still. So I'm glad you all really like it. I like it too. I guess like there's definitely some like more dark stuff in this than I was expecting, but I'm kind of like, yeah, like let's lean into that. Let's see where that goes. Like I wasn't expecting so much like we talked about like the family stuff briefly, like Sam mentioned it. And that's like kind of an interesting decision that they're making. Just like right out of the gate, they're kind of explaining the drama. And I'm curious to see how that could potentially play into later stuff. I also like don't know how I feel about the parents. I kind of feel kind of really critical of them right now, but we'll get into that when we break down the episode proper. But I think like I'm curious for more. I think the kind of cliffhangeriness of this episode, and also the initial pilot, was really good. It keeps you really pumped for more, and it keeps you asking questions. And I think that's a smart thing that this show does in particular. I don't know. I like it so far, but I also like I have a lot of questions. I'm really wondering how some things are going to pan out later, as little as I know. But yeah, it still seems like a pretty okay show so far.
Okay. I mean, I think questions are good. I think the show wants you to have.
Yeah.
Maybe not the same type of question. I don't know. We can dig into it more. Yeah, that's an interesting insight from the inside CN perspective. Yeah, even Michelle did not see the show.
No, I had no way to access it.
That's great. Hopefully this means...
I asked people, they wouldn't let me. I was like, you know what? That's fine.
Hopefully it means no leaks.
No, that's what they mean. That they just really didn't want any leaks, and that's them doing a good job.
Michelle, it sounds like you asked me, like, can I watch the show? They're like, no, but we'll tell you like one line about how much we love it. Like,
no, it's not that. I mean, like, just like it's just, you know, other people who work on the campaign who like have been putting out the trailers and working on social and stuff. Like, they obviously know, but not everyone knows because not everyone can see it.
Yeah. We got the trailer at Comic-Con also with the Crazy Train.
Crazy Train! Did you guys like the Crazy Train in the trailer?
I thought that was the greatest thing.
Okay, great! That's great!
I can't believe Cartoon Network licensed Crazy Train for the trailer of Infinity Train. That's like that's a move Cartoon Network never makes, is like licensing a major song for.
Honestly, that's like the biggest sign to me that this isn't like the normal demographic that they're aiming for.
Yeah.
Well, it's a very regular show move. With, you know, Owen Dennis comes from that line, so it makes sense.
But like that wasn't his decision.
Sure. But I'm just saying it fits the vibe that I.
It does. I think the trailer turned out really good.
Yeah, I thought it was a good trailer. Okay. I loved this premiere. I was a little skeptical heading into the series just because it's so hyped up. I was a big fan of the pilot.
Like 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I think it's been 3 years since the pilot, and right away the pilot was popular. I was a big fan of the pilot, and I'm like, okay, it can't really be as good as we're all expecting once it actually comes to series. One episode in, it is as good as we're expecting. Like, this was fantastic. I agree with Alex. This is as good as this premiere could have possibly went. I think it hit basically on every cylinder. It was very satisfying from the perspective of someone who's a big fan of the pilot, I believe, because it's not like a lot of pilots where it changes a lot of stuff and then you're like a little bit confused about like, okay, this isn't what I expected. It's like a hard reset. It's definitely a different continuity than the pilot. That's clear, right? Like, this is a reboot. The pilot's not canon, I believe, but I don't know, maybe it's supposed to be or something, but, but it expands on, like, we have the beginning of how she gets onto the train. But everything's basically the same. Like, the design's kind of different. The animation's different. One's the same. The Tulip's the same. Like, it all feels like connected. But then it goes in directions which I would be excited like if the show went by the end of the first season, like she got off the train in the first episode, like that would be that's like a season 1 finale thing you could do. And then there's like this beam of light in the sky that like kills a dude and sucks him in, like, whoa. And then these like this like cockroach dog starts dementoring Tulip. Oh my goodness.
Dementoring Tulip. Oh my god. It's a good way to put it.
I like you call that out though, because like now that you mention it, you're right that would be like a season 1 ending thing that she gets off the train. Does this kind of imply that she might get off the train more than once and there's other things?
No, I think so.
I mean, I think the thing was to establish the stakes, because if some of these trains are dangerous, it's like, why doesn't she just leave the train? That's why, because there's cockroach dementors out there.
Yeah,
but a thing where like there might be something she sees off the train, like she might see Michaela or something off the train.
Oh, ooh,
I need to get off there.
yeah.
Like, I'm not saying it will be that. I'm just saying like it might be something that she wants, that she sees out there, and she knows it's dangerous, but the train stops for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And the outside of the train might not always be in that weird desert dimension.
That's true.
Like
it's an infinite train.
Yeah, it could be infinite going in a circle around the same place.
I'm
like
not
I
sure.
think I think the Adventure Time episode works like that. But that was all really unexpected and different from the pilot, and that was like fantastic. So like I think it like really worked from like anticipating after the pilot. I think it probably works for new fans. I think like in terms of like a show structure, the characterization is really strong for Tulip, and we get a lot of the divorced parent stuff in the beginning, and I think on one hand it's like, okay, there's a lot of character work for like half of this pilot is the character, but at the same time it's like, oh, she's on the train now, she's not going, but like we could get flashbacks, but it's like, oh, that was it, and now she's on the train, so it's not like a ton that we saw of her home life. But I guess you could do flashbacks would be the solution to that. But I think that the character work was strong. I think the action was there, the mystery elements, I think it was funny too. I think one was very funny.
One's very funny.
Great.
It was a funny episode. And the thing that even more, not necessarily even more, but I guess the aspect of the show overall that surprised me the most was the animation. Like this was gorgeous. The backgrounds I did not expect to look like that. I don't know. Like it was very much like painting backgrounds on top of like, and characters on top of that. And everything's kind of like that, but this is like even more pronounced, I feel like, than normal. But it just looked so distinctive and gorgeous, and like it did really look epic looking. So like I feel like it was like incredibly well put together on top of like everything else. I don't know. Definitely this is like the best premiere we've seen. I feel like it's like easier to have a strong premiere for this show, obviously, because you're actually doing things right off the bat versus every single other Cartoon Network show where it needs to be like quiet. And Infinity Train, this is just going to be such a weird experience watching a Cartoon Network show that's not spending its first season episodically, right? Like this is going to be serialized right off the bat, it looks like. I mean, we'll see. I mean,
let's not forget the wonderful miniseries success of Over the Garden Wall. I mean, there's some comparisons to be made there too, I think, for sure.
Right. Well, yeah, that's miniseries. People still unclear if this is, Michelle, do you have a definitive answer if this is a miniseries or a series?
Yeah, give us a Cartoon Network insider information.
I'm like 98% sure
to tell
it's a
you, but I
series.
actually don't even remember. So don't
Okay,
ask
then
me.
probably better if you don't answer that. If you don't.
Yeah.
As a member of the public, I'll say that we know that 5 episodes are being released in the same week, so it'd be weird for a mini-series to release that much in the span of 5 days.
Yeah.
It could be
Just
like
saying.
a 2-week miniseries airing for 10 episodes. But
Yeah.
I definitely think it's going to be a series, but it is weird weaving. The Cartoon Network's basically taking the approach of like, we're going to say as little as possible because it's a mystery show and we want the mystery element behind it. So I think that's probably smart. But you should say it's a series, so many episodes there. But I guess, I don't know. I guess it's also fun this way to go in completely in the dark to the show.
Is this better or worse than the Promised Neverland premiere? Because I am not sure. This is just so good.
I think it's not as good as the Promised Neverland premiere. That's a really, really special episode in my opinion.
I haven't watched that. I don't know, but this has like less. Like I think the Promised Neverland had like a little more fluff though. Like this just had nothing that was fluff.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Like Promised
it's
Neverland
tighter.
depends on a twist at the end versus this, which I feel like is consistently moving and like dropping new
That's
stuff
what
across the entire
Look,
runtime.
it's different. It is a good
It is
comparison. These are two like going to be strong plot heavy shows, very popular this year. This is just consistently stuff happening. Everything's good. Everything's like interesting throughout the bat. Promised Neverland is such a specific thing that I love. The first episode where it's all building towards this twist, like which is such a fantastic moment. But everything is all the quiet stuff is like in service of the twist. You know, like it's all tightly building to that, but it's such a different structure.
I was just curious if you had an opinion because I hadn't really formed one fully yet.
Yeah, I mean, The Promised Neverland is like my
it's really
my top 5 episode of the year for me. This I don't know. I don't even know where to rank this. I want to see the other episodes of the show. Like, is this a great episode of Infinity Train, or is this just like a normal? If this is a normal episode of Infinity Train, that would be great. Like that. Yeah. This isn't even that good. Like that would be fantastic. Okay, what's one thing? What was your biggest thing you reacted to? How about that, Alex? In the premiere.
You mentioned it in your opening remarks, the darkness of some of the new stuff that's been added into this episode, the sequence of that guy getting sucked into the sky, the cockroach dogs with wings, like the design and animation of that stuff is very creative and very creepy and very great. So I loved that stuff felt very much like, okay, this is like a post-apocalyptic world where who knows what the hell is going on, but that's what it's trying to get you to do. So it works very well. And also as mentioned, like it sets up the stakes of this as well, very quickly getting out of the way the question of why doesn't she get off the train in between cars. It settles that pretty quickly, and so now we don't have to worry about that kind of question that may have been left lingering in lesser series. So I think that the decisions to add the very weird imagery into this very quickly is great, because even in the pilots, I mean, we're probably going to get the steward at some point in the show, but we haven't gotten the first episode. But the steward's appearance in the pilot was kind of the marker that, okay, this show is going to get dark. It's going to have some creepy imagery stuff. And like here in the first episode of the actual show, it's like, okay, so we're keeping that side of things. It's going to get a little weird. And that's, I think, what a big part of why people are hyped for this show. The fact that it is going to have a little bit of a twist on the usual Cartoon Network show. So I got very excited by those things just because of how out of the ordinary those kind of things are for this style of show.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned, I forgot to comment before on the getting out of the train. Yeah, I think that like it's really smart to have her leave the train just to answer this question of like, why isn't she trying to get off? Like, why can't? Yeah, exactly. Like it's just really helpful psychologically. I'm gonna feel like if you're gonna be on this infinite train, to know like that there's danger outside, and you should, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think like that's true, but it's just like she's making so many just normal human decisions, and that's what I mean. Like she's looking at stuff and she's like, man, why didn't she just get off the train? And she makes that same thought she has that same thought I do, like, and that's pretty, I think, rare in a lot of these shows. Like characters will like look at something and there's like a clear thing they should do, and then they just kind of like save it for another episode, but she just does it when she sees it, and that's really refreshing for me.
I think I agree in general, but I also just think it makes sense for this character who is supposed to be extremely logical. Like that this is I mean, we're going to talk about this when we get to Tulip, but this is very rare to see a programming kid as the main character of a show. And like, I think clearly she's supposed to be logical. That was true of the pilot. She was talking about, like math and stuff. And then at the end of this, she's like, there has to be a way off the train that won't kill me. Like even crazy things have their own logic, she says at the end of this. So like, I think, I agree. Like the decisions Tulip makes totally fit her character and like are satisfying from an audience perspective. And Alex mentioned the steward, the conductor, which is referenced, I think, at the end of this episode. That's a character in the pilot. That was like that's like the oh crap thing in the pilot, I feel like, is seeing the conductor and everything about that. And then it's cool to have them referenced here. Is it presumably the same thing as in the pilot? Who knows? Could be different. But I also like foreshadowing that too at the end, or like hinting at what's to come there. Sarah, what was the biggest thing you reacted to? On the episode?
I think I was most surprised by how much I just liked all the characters, because it's really hard for me to like, I guess in shows like this, these short form shows, it's really hard for me to like latch on to more than maybe like one or two characters this early. But like every character we met here, like I felt like they were a fully formed person, and I really liked that. Like I liked 1-1. I really liked 1-1. I really liked Tulip. I was interested in Tulip's parents. I was interested in Michaela, and I just liked. It felt like there was history behind every conversation that was being had, except obviously Tulip and 1-1 who had just met. Like it felt like there was a lot of like context for things, and I just really enjoyed that. There was a lot of nuance to almost every conversation I think that happened, and I don't know. I'm just if this is what we get in episode 1, I'm really excited to see what we're going to do with these characters moving forward.
Nice. Yeah, I agree with that. And there's more characters to come. We didn't.
Yeah.
A decision I like is we did not meet Atticus in this episode. The corgi, who's a fan favorite from the pilot, but I think that would have potentially broke from the tone of the pilot. So I think that was like really good, in my opinion. But also people are going to be really eager to see Atticus soon. So we'll see. Sam, how about something that stood out from the pilot to you?
Divorced parents, boy. Let me explain. So, as we've been moving further along in the stream of time, in shows, movies, animation shows, etc., we've been seeing more diversity in parenting. Single parents, parents who are interracial, gay parents, etc. But where is the divorced parent, and where is the issue that comes up with that? Which, for me, holds a dear place in my heart, since that's how I grew up. My parents were divorced. And, it was hard. And to see that reflected in a show, I'd like, even if I'm not particularly the age bracket for that show, even if it is, like, skewing a little bit younger for me, I still, connect to that very much. I'm like, oh god, I remember how that was like when I was a kid. So that point of realism and showing yet another, I guess, face of what parenting is, that really is something that I connected to in this. And just seeing how Tulip is reacting to everything, and just the dynamic between her and her parents, even though it was very brief in this episode, I still really enjoyed that. And like I said earlier, that's something that really sold me on the show. The sort of, it isn't going to be all like mathematical, algebraic, Adventure Timey sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like there's actually going to be some real deep emotions happening. Not to say Adventure Time didn't have deep emotions, but you know what I mean? Like it's not going to be, at least in my view of it, it doesn't seem like it's going to be placed under the facade of like, all this cool hip lingo. Like it's going to be real, and it's going to be in the forefront. And that's something I really appreciate.
Yeah, it was like emotionally substantial and had depth like right off the bat.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree with that. And I was just like very surprised how much they emphasized this. Like at first it's like, oh, okay, they'll hint at them being divorced, but no, it's like a major.
Yeah.
It's like clearly this is going to be a major thing for Tulip in her life right now, and we felt that watching her in these opening moments. I think
they say divorce 3 times in the beginning.
It is certainly on the nose, but I think that's good. I think it's purposeful, to like get the
yeah, it's purposeful. Don't forget they're divorced now.
I could see
that's-
people making fun of that stuff, but it is certainly a lot of times. But
That's the thing. Like, you never hear it. Like, you see a single parent, you assume, oh, like their spouse died or something, like with Steven Universe or like Chucky Finster and Rugrats or something like that. And that's usually the case because that's quote unquote safer somehow than saying, oh, this marriage didn't work out. Even though like a lot of kids have divorced parents, and like that's something that I think should be reflected, as opposed to like, a network banhammer coming down being like, they have to be dead, they can't be divorced, we don't want the Catholic Church coming after us or something, you know what I mean?
No, that's fair.
Yeah, it in a way is progressive, like I think showing non-traditional family structures in kid shows is definitely progressive, and the show's going into it right off the bat. I think that's great. Michelle, how about something you reacted to strongest from the premiere?
Tulip eats raw onions. I did not see that coming.
I hate it.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, she's just having her hand off the buzz, just eating it.
Is that? I remember the onion breath, but she has it also.
Yeah,
she's also
munching it while
eating
she's coding.
A raw onion, yeah. That's where she gets her coding power from. Power food.
Are we sure these are just raw onions? Like,
raw onions
you know what? This definitely means we're gonna get an onion car in the train, and she's gonna be like, "Oh my god, I love it."
Yeah, my favorite car. How did they know?
Yeah.
I kind of love that. It's just like quirky and it's a personal thing. I don't know. I feel like everyone has like a weird thing they snack on. I think
Should be hot take cold food onions right now.
Yeah. Well, okay, we'll save that. But yeah, we can do that. Okay. Yeah, and I think I said the things that stood out to me. Also, we haven't mentioned the number on her hand too, which is a big element of the pilot, but we bring that in quickly. You see the 115 on her hand, kind of the neon glowing number there, and this is like this is going to be one of the big mystery elements of the show. I love how they introduced that. Just there's the outside cloud thing. I'm trying to conceptualize that.
That's probably my second biggest thing, because that implies a lot. Like, one, it implies that like, all right, we're not messing around. Like this show's gonna go to dark, scary places. But it also implies there are other people, and this train is essentially a life or death situation. If you fail, you die, and that's kind of crazy. So, like, is there a time limit on Tulip here? Is that what the hand thing means, or what?
Yeah, I mean, people have been speculating ever since the pilot aired what the time thing, the hand thing is meant on her hand, and we don't know. We'll see. I think it's going to be a fun mystery to track. But I agree. Like we kind of see. We can debate whether this is like a real person. It certainly looks like a person who gets sucked into the light. She says it is
she's like, whoa, that dude.
Right. Well, I mean, Tulip isn't seen up close either. It could turn out to be like a. I don't know, a mannequin. I don't know, but like,
there's already the theory too that this is all a hallucination.
That would be.
But no, I think it's like bold and fantastic to establish life or death stakes right off the bat for this show. Like it makes everything really, it makes it real, because this could totally just be fantastical. Like, oh, what train car is she gonna walk into next? But if you want it to be dark, I think like introducing those stakes right off the bat is really good. And Cartoon Network kids show. I mean, as Michelle said, not necessarily aimed at kids.
It's not a kids show.
That's interesting, right? Like, what's a kid show? What's not a kid show? But a show airing on Cartoon Network. It's going to be airing same time as their other shows, and people dying in this pilot. At least the far outline of a person. That's crazy.
Yeah, death.
Yeah, death.
Infinity Train, death, and divorce.
I mean, one was like all about the dark humor with like, oh yeah, it's not a coffin. I wait for the sweet embrace of death. Like, I thought that was cool.
One. This is carrying on from the pilot. The sad one side of 1-1 is talks about the pilot talks about obituaries a lot, and here it's like hypothermia will take us, or like that's the only way out, or something.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like it's pretty great. I feel like 1-1, smashing success for he splits apart to save Tulip. I think that's a good moment. said asking Tulip, "Are you my mom?" And I don't know. So and it seems to, even though 1-1 does not seem to know much about what's going on, does say that he thinks there's a conductor at the end. So maybe 1-1 does know things. That's going to be interesting too. What's 1-1? I mean, what is 1-1? Who created 1-1? Right? Like, it's this robot.
He's baby.
Well, yeah, we know he has a goal too. He wants to find his mom, so that's his objective is to find his mom. Apparently, my
first reaction was gonna be like that could have just been a gag, but he does say it a second time. Like he says again, he says like I didn't remember your answer to that, so I could totally see that being a recurring thing. Yeah. But I we'll have to, for a lot of things, we'll have to see like what the next few episodes do to know like what's this episode, but yeah, I could see that 1-1 trying to like find, its origin, that being the bagel mom,
bagel mom.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. That was like such a specifically weird joke, but I found it really funny.
Yeah.
All the jokes are really good in this episode.
Yeah, we can 1-1 singing the wacky chase music.
That was so. Honestly, I thought just because like we see how scary those cockroach things are, and then just the juxtaposition with that song. He's like, "Oh, I made it up myself. It's my wacky song." It lands really well.
That was the other part that made me realize like no like person under the age of like X like certain age is gonna know what this is right now.
Exactly.
It's so specific.
I mean, it's a 1-1 original, so we don't know what it is. What is the song?
It's his song.
It's like the yeah. I guess that's public domain. But yeah,
Yakety sax.
Maybe counts as like a cover, so it's fine.
I don't know.
It might be public domain. So I don't know, Michelle.
We'll research that.
I don't know. You want me to ask?
Yeah.
We could also look. I guess 1-1 does say, "Oh my gosh, what am I?" So yeah, but I think looking into his origin is going to be a big thing here. Yeah. Well, I mean, let's talk Tulip's character stuff in a little bit, but I feel like people's highlights, big things are going to be the train itself. So like we start off in this winter car, I think. Yeah. That's where we meet 1-1 and part of like Snowman. But then we quickly get off there and we move to like this block car. Apparently this episode is called the grid car. So the grid car is the one with I don't know where that's from because I don't see a name yet, but
citation needed.
Yeah. I think they said it at the panel, so maybe someone attended the panel. But it's the you tap on the blocks and they come up. Oh, there it is. Episode's on. And okay, real time. Yay. It's on the app. It's on the app. So there you go. Okay, don't post a comment saying it's on the app. I discovered it when you discovered it. Okay.
Well, I mean, so people are definitely still gonna do it, Dylan.
Yeah.
I know. It is called the grid car and it's on the CN app.
Wow. Okay. Did they use a screenshot of the dude getting sucked?
They did. They did.
Oh my god!
It's sometimes it feels. I think it's auto generated sometimes, but yeah, they
that's pretty funny.
The dude just dying.
He's like literally just dying. The whole world like rumbling in response to it.
Okay. So this grid car is it's got like almost like a piano thing where you tap it and it makes the sound and then the like colorful blocks come up and I think this is like a great concept for like Tulip displaying like building skills and like the fight with the cockroaches at the end. She's like building this barrier with 1-1 in order to get away from them.
Yeah.
I really love how that's used towards the end of the episode.
And I really liked the callback to her game. Like they kept calling back to her game in this episode, and I was wondering why. And like the payoff was definitely her throwing her own like game pieces at the cockroach dog thing.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was really good.
We'll talk more about that. But yeah, we had the outside and we had the cars. And how about these I call them cockroach dogs. I don't know if anyone has a better descriptor.
That is what they are.
What do you mean that is what they are? They're not a real thing, so it can't be like...
Yes, they're real to the universe of Infinity Train.
Are you confirming with inside knowledge that these are called cockroach? So what do you mean it is what they are?
That's what they look like, so that's what they are.
So in real life, there are cockroaches with wings, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't
I mean, I don't want to think about it, but yeah.
Okay.
True.
But then they have like the teeth, and they're also, I think totally like a Dementor move. So it starts to like my interpretation, it obviously isn't a real thing, based on like other fantasy things. It seems like this is sucking the life force out of Tulip because she starts to get wrinkly, I think, and old. So I think it's like either sucking the youth or the life force out of her,
or
Yeah,
her
it's like-
even juice, so she's just wrinkly because she doesn't have juice inside her anymore.
What seems like when I saw this, it seemed like there's definitely a theme to this show of like, or not theme, but like definitely a thing about how this train keeps going infinitely.
Ooh.
And I think the energy is like it's sucking energy from people.
So you think the giant storm thing in the
maybe.
middle is sucking the people up so that it can power the train?
Yes.
and also the
my
the
God.
creatures too.
But that would explain why it just shows up randomly and scoops up people.
And why
Yeah.
it stopped
Wow.
and then ate the guy and then it starts moving again.
Oh yeah, that's true. I'll get to that in a second. Oh, yeah, Sam, what was your reaction? First, Michelle, human juice. I don't know.
That is, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the most absurd thing Michelle's ever said. Let's be honest.
Sam, what did you think seeing the dog things trying to suck out
I
Tulip's
thought
life
they were
force?
cicadas, honestly.
Cicadas? Okay, yeah, it could be
because they were
cicadas,
making the
too.
noise.
Yeah, cicada
Anyway.
dogs.
Yeah, anywho. You know what? I didn't think about them like sucking for the power of the train. I like that a lot. That's my new Sam theory.
Because again, if
I made it like it's my theory.
number hand is
Well-
like a countdown, it's like, well, maybe this is how much time you have to solve your hand thing before the cloud eats you to power the train. Maybe it's like, we'll give you a slim chance of escaping, but then you're train food, essentially.
Yeah, maybe that's your number, like at the deli. Like she's slide.
Yeah.
Now,
The train deli.
I will comment. I find it interesting that we reveal that she has the number on her hand, but we don't show her number changing during this episode. In the pilots, we
In the pilot, it
we
changes.
did see that scroll,
Wow.
but in this episode, we don't see a change. So that's just something to point out as like a big difference here.
I feel like I need to watch the pilot because everybody just keeps talking about it.
Yeah,
It's
it kind of sums up a lot of stuff.
I'm unclear if the pilot has any like bearing on like the specific things that are happening here. Like I'm
No, I think it's probably a separate continuity.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna.
but they also could have changed how the number works,
exactly.
right? So in the pilot, it wouldn't seem like it's a countdown because I don't think it like goes to from one thing down to one. You know,
Maybe.
it changes
wasn't
to a
like
random
countdown
number.
Before, I don't think. I thought the
May-
number increased.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's
the
how
Americans.
many miles per hour she needs to get the train to go. for,
In order to go back in time.
for so long. I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder,
So
like, if
it's-
she does.
I have-
what the time
to
is
game
gonna
camp.
be.
She's go to that speed to get to game camp.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a lot of Sam theories about what's happening, but a lot of them are broke. So,
Broke.
yeah, like they're really basic.
Okay, let's give us some.
Okay.
All right.
I
So, Sam theory. The train is death. Obviously, it's just like hell. The train is afterlife, hell, death, whatever. Who cares?
Purgatory.
Purgatory.
No, that's just stealing from over the garden wall. Don't do that. Do something else. Come on.
Oh, so that's what that show's about?
Yes,
Okay, now I know.
I've never
Hooray!
seen that show,
Oh my
so
God. Yeah.
that doesn't apply
I
to
don't-
the Sam
I
theories.
don't think this is I don't think that's what this is.
I hope not.
The way the
That's why it's a broke theory.
okay,
Sorry,
I'll
Sam,
stop.
Continue.
Broke theory number 2, the Infinity Train just like houses Earth. All of Earth is inside of the
What?
train.
Wow,
Oh my God.
I like it.
Yeah. Number 3, it's like Snowpiercer, but I've never seen that movie, so I'm not really sure.
No,
what
I
that's about.
definitely have.
Wait, hold on. So what does that theory mean if you've never seen
Um,
Snowpiercer?
Well, isn't like all of humanity? It's sort of like the Earth one. So isn't like all of
Yeah, I
humanity.
think,
inside
from
the
my memory,
Snowpiercer
I do think
train?
it's like, yeah, I think it's, yeah.
And like they do whatever on it. I don't know. Trains.
Wait, but
are-
this, I'm trying to remember them to Snowpiercer. I don't know. But,
No,
yeah.
Dylan, I know Snowpiercer.
Yeah,
Snowpiercer-
Snowpiercer's like the Earth is uninhabitable, so they have to.
Oh, yeah,
The train-
okay.
So that's what the
system.
that.
Oh.
There
There's
you
also like,
go.
there's like a class system. Right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, and, like-
Not like every car is just a puzzle you have to solve or
But
anything.
also, there is kind of a similar thing in that like people power the train.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is true.
Combo.
I mean, if that's what's happening here.
Yes,
Which
yes,
it's probably
that's
not,
what I'm
we'll see.
saying. That like
Yeah.
if it's happening, but it
Oh,
just
yeah.
is very convenient that the train stops, that someone dies, and then the train starts again.
I
Is,
wonder
so
what
does it
means.
stop every time it's going to sacrifice a new person whose number hand ran out?
Yes.
That's true. Why did it stop?
Yeah,
Yeah. and-
why did
If it
stop.
does, like that's gonna be really scary each time the train stops. Then
Yeah, that adds a lot of tension.
Porn, but with a train and no corn, you know?
Corn.
I don't know.
Also, thing though, if she has to get through all the train cars to win, why doesn't she just wait till the train stops and then just run really fast and go through like 5 cars and climb back on? Couldn't she just do that and time it?
She might do that. Like, I think this show might
I think she should try that. She seems like a logical person.
Yes, I don't think there's really winning, but it's an assumption. What is winning? Winning is getting off of the the train and getting back home.
Were you going to say crazy train, Dylan?
Can we just call it the crazy train? I wasn't about to say that, but
I want to call it the crazy train.
Yeah, okay.
Cartoon Network called it that, essentially.
Yeah, we did it.
Oh my god, Michelle, remember Polar Express?
Yes, I remember Polar
Express. What if this is like Polar Express?
In what way?
I don't know.
Okay, we just naming train things now.
The end of Infinity is North Pole?
Yes, Santa's
wasn't this just Polar? We had the snow car.
Weeks to come out of somewhere.
Oh, Sam, what if this is like Thomas the Tank Engine?
Oh my god!
Stop it. Okay. Don't encourage just naming of train things.
It's like a Skyrim mod with Thomas.
Oh my god. Mod.
I have the broke theory of Tulip freezing in the middle of the Wisconsin winter, and she was picked up in the post-apocalypse by this train.
Oh, so you think this is the future, and she cryogenically was frozen?
Yes.
Yeah, she's a cave lady.
Okay, I'm gonna. If it's broke or woke, I'm gonna say broke for all these theories.
Yeah, that's fair.
My theory too.
Well,
what's your theory?
I think the most woke theory is still the train.
That's the best we've come up with. It's powered. Yeah. That's the best thing so far.
I came up with that, Dylan. That's what I'm asking.
Oh, okay. I'll say woke for that.
Yeah, that's pretty woke.
Yeah, that's pretty woke.
Okay, I also about the hands, the thing on the hand. I think it's definitely not going to be counting down in time or just counting down one by one because that's the least interesting thing it could be. So, this is going to be like such a mystery. It's got to be like something super weird.
I think it's going to be some type of pattern, and she's going to use logic
like a pattern
out,
yeah.
and like start writing it out.
If it's something logical, it's something we could presumably figure out before the reveal happens. Because that's what a good setup for a reveal is, something you can logically guess.
Oh yeah, people are going to be trying to figure this out.
Yeah, totally.
15th birthday before she goes off.
So many birthdays. I like the deli theory a lot.
Yeah, it's just her number.
It's just her turn. Just has to wait till their number's called.
She's going to get to the end of the train. It's going to be a deli, and there's just going to be like a guy there, like, "Hey, do you want a sandwich?" Or no, do you want an onion?
Show me your ticket hand number. There you go.
Okay, yeah. So there'll probably be a deli car at some point, and they'll make that joke.
Oh my god, there's definitely gonna be there's a deli car. There has to be.
That's a normal car though, a food car.
Yeah.
But as a dining car, as we mentioned, she boards the train in the woods. It like stops. She runs away to try to get to coding camp on her own, and then the train comes, and it says Oshkosh on it, the place she's trying to go to, which is a lot of miles away. So this is another element.
Is this the gaming camp?
Oh wow, it's really advanced.
That's a good theory. This is the gaming camp.
Wait. That's another question.
She did make it to gaming camp.
What if the person that died
wasn't like I'm not sure how old the person that died was, but it could just be another kid from gaming camp that died.
Yeah, maybe they're game coding.
No, maybe it's like
a
VR sort of thing.
Yeah. No, she did make it to coding camp, and this is her game.
Yes,
and she's playing the
really
game.
Good game. The Michaela wasn't lying. That's very impressive.
She's an AI. Like this is like AI Tulip, and she thinks she's real, but she's not actually.
You know, she went to coding camp and she made a simulation, and the whole show is within her simulation.
Yeah.
Gosh, I love it.
That seems like a cop out, but that also
it's definitely a cop out.
I like Sarah's twist because that at least makes us care about the character. If it's like, hey, the AI is becoming self-aware, like that, I could buy into as like, okay, this is still meaningful in its own
Tulip
deep way.
discovers that she's a sim.
My god!
I do think stuff like that, as absurd as it sounds, I think that stuff is in play because this episode clearly takes the setting away from our reality. Like, clearly this is not on our Earth in some normal sense. So, like, is it a simulation? Is it another planet? Like, these are valid things because what else explains the giant tunnel of light and what location are they in, right? Like, it's clearly not, it's not here. I think like it being some sort, it makes more sense to me that it would be something crazy like a simulation than it would be that this is physically on Earth and the train went to somewhere that is literally that setting. Like that to me makes the least amount of sense.
I mean, actually now I'm thinking because Sam said the Polar Express. I mean, so hear me out for a second. Okay, so from my understanding, Polar Express appears only to children worthy of believing in Santa enough to meet him.
Yeah.
So it's not
you're right.
equal opportunity. It specifically shows up for specific kids.
It does seem like it's specifically there for
it's
Tulip, yeah.
Specifically there for Tulip. So the question is, why? Like, what kind of people is it picking up, and what's the
I think it's picking up
reason?
smart people. I think it's picking up people who are desperate and smart. Like,
Okay, so it's like, I'm a train full of puzzles. I need the smartest kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it that Tulip is a good coder? Is that part of why the train wants her?
I think this is like Promised Neverland, Dylan. They're powering them with child's brains.
Right, is Tulip going to take a test, and then her aptitude is what she's most likely to be sucked up by the giant light thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Cars are the test. They're testing her
Exactly.
ability to pass.
Right, yeah, that's going to be a big theory. The train cars could be testing Tulip,
they are
for some
testing
reason.
her.
Yeah.
Is it because they want to harvest her? Like, there's actually a lot of connections problems. Like, is it that, or is it that it's like, see if she's worthy to make it to some, like, Valhalla, right?
But with
like,
that theory, Dylan, like, there was no, like, inherent challenges to the rooms she started in. Like, it was just a snow room and a room with, like, a fun grid. And that might be on purpose. Like, they weren't, they were just fun things. They weren't, like, there wasn't any danger in those two cars. The cockroach dog came from outside the car.
That's true. The danger does come from outside, so we'll see if any of the cars themselves have danger. But yeah, I think a big thing to note is the train says where she wants to go on, and she's like, oh, that's convenient.
I don't think it's lying. I think it's telling the truth, honestly. I think it's not lying that it's going to take her there if she does everything right.
Oh, so you think if she passes the test or something,
she definitely, it's not going to get handed to her because that person got eaten by the cloud. So
I mean, the alternate theory would be that it was trying to lure her on.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it targeted her.
I think it could be either, but I'm leaning towards it's actually going to take her there if she succeeds.
So it could have targeted her, or it could have just cyclically read that's where she wanted to go, or it could have been looking for any person, and it could have said, oh, I know that this person wants to go to Oshkosh. So I think all of those things are in play, but it's very notable that the thing said where she wanted to go, but like that limits our options.
Maybe it appears to people who desperately need to go somewhere.
Right. I feel like if you're gonna get on a train, anyone's gonna have something in their head where they want to go. No, I feel like no one's gonna have like a blank mind of like a destination. So I think if it's gonna like psychically read them, it would be able to come up with somewhere. But it could be. I think the like desperate to go somewhere is in line with the like she's like logical and smart, and that's why it wants her. Like if it's like, is there a specific quality that is making the train want Tulip? Like, I think that's in line with that. Or is it just that she was a person that stumbled upon this thing, which seems unlikely considering it's in the random Wisconsin forest. I guess that's where it happens, right? So it's presumably not that far from her house.
Well, actually, no, because again, if the stakes are live or die in this train, it does appear to just anyone, and the question is, does Tulip possess things with her qualities of being like a coder or being logical to survive it, whereas maybe the average kid doesn't? Like, maybe it is just random, but her survival isn't random, and that's the appeal.
Yeah, I agree. That could be possible. I think she could just be a random person, but maybe she does well because she's talented. Yeah, maybe that's because they're testing her or not testing her. Maybe it's just a bad situation and she has to survive. But I think in a thing like this, there's going to be some intent, that we're working towards. But it could be like symbolic intent. I mean, I think like this show, we're going to start talking about like Lost a lot in comparisons with that. In terms of like other like giant mystery shows, is it a thing where it's like, there's not really an answer? Like is it like an abstract answer, or is it like a definitive thing that we're working towards? You'd think it would be some like real definitive thing, and we're going to actually reveal tangible mysteries along the way. But I don't know. A lot of these types of shows do like thematic things with this. So I think that's also in play. I'm not in favor of that, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, let's talk more about Tulip herself. I think a lot of stuff in the beginning of this episode. I mean, we've talked a lot about her already, but she's introduced with her friend Michaela.
Yeah,
Michaela seems like a good friend.
Love them.
They're kind of riffing on each other.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Yeah, cool, because like Michaela's gonna miss her because she's gonna be gone for a while, and she's also concerned about her home life and brings up the divorce first, which Tulip doesn't seem to want to talk about. But I mean, I think she's concerned about her for sure.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I wonder, it's like you introduce this character and the parents, and it's like, by the premise of the show, we can't see these people anymore. So is it like, well, we do flashbacks to see more of Michaela?
Yeah.
What if like a twist is that Michaela appears on the train and Tulip meets her? Like, is this the real Michaela? Is this a fake Michaela that the train is manifesting?
Ooh,
like,
it's going to be like a Coraline sort of thing.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
The train could be a Coraline thing. Yeah, I could see that. And then the parents could go, oh, I could see that. Yeah. I think you got to bring Michaela back to somehow, you know. That's because, like, I don't know if you're like making the first episode of this show, it's like that's kind of the inherent challenge is that the premise completely takes the character away from where you start. So, like, what do you do there? So I don't know. I think the show will find a way to work them back somehow, either through flashbacks or I think it'd be more interesting if they did appear on the train in some capacity, or like maybe she gets to a TV train and she can like see a feed of of them.
Oh yeah, and maybe it plays into her own anxieties about her relationship.
She's like, oh no, or she's like, are they in danger? Is the train going to kill them? Like, yeah.
I think the train has a soft rule of not killing anyone who doesn't go on the train itself. I think outside people are okay.
I think that's an assumption. What if this train's trying to take over the world, Michelle? We don't know.
It can't. It's an infinity train. It just stays in a loop the whole time. It can't leave the tracks. It's a train.
Hey, but in order to
it
disintegrated a person. Anything with the capacity to
it killed
somebody.
A person already on the train got disintegrated, not a random person sitting in their house.
I think it's not necessarily going in a circle just because it's infinite. It could be going infinitely in any direction.
I just like the idea of this going in a.
That would make more sense. Funny. I also want to bring up the possibility that the like light funnel cloud is not necessarily the train itself. It is outside of the train. Maybe it's a separate force. Maybe it's not the train's intent to kill that dude.
Is it God?
Yes.
Maybe it's God that's sucking him up. Yeah.
I hope not. God shouldn't toy with Tulip's life like that. So pretty narcissistic.
This is an evil God.
Here's some more Broken Woke opinions for you.
Okay.
Broke. God is a conductor. Woke. God is the light cloud thing.
Ooh, the God is the cloud itself.
Alex just said that.
Yes.
Oh. Okay. Well, caught in the act. What are you gonna do?
I think the conductor theories are gonna be more interesting. But yeah, I just didn't expect this thing that sucks up the person. Like it just introduces so many more interesting things.
Yeah, it really does.
I feel like that was a big highlight.
The conductor's gonna be her dad.
Okay. Can we segue to the dad? Because I have a lot to say.
Okay. What is your take on the dad?
So, kind of both parents, but mostly dad, just because his awful text message. I screen capped it. He's so awful. He writes, "I'm sorry, bud," but to his daughter. "Bud, I'll make it up to you later. Please call." Sad face emoji, teardrop.
Dude, that's something.
Father with text like that when he's like crushing his daughter's dreams of going to code camp. Tulip also makes a point that she made a deal with her parents. They signed a contract that if she got better grades, they would take her. So for them to go back on their promise, I get how she feels. I'd be mad too. Yeah. Like, this is a huge oversight, and the dad's text message just does not display the gravity of the situation that it should. So,
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe there's a reason mom has custody, is what I'm saying.
Not a good start for dad. I think he's trying to relate to her. What the kids do these days.
So that's the thing. I think that that's the beauty of this scene, honestly, that you can understand where the mom and dad are coming from, but also totally understand Tulip being angry, because the mom is like, well, I have a full-time job. I can't just not go to take you to this. And dad made a mistake. He misscheduled. And so from the parents' side, you can understand, like, bad circumstances add up, stuff and you get stuff doesn't work out. But then you also understand Tulip's side. It's like, well, then I'm just like third place. So then just her shouting of scheduling, like the idea that you would say the word scheduling to a kid is like that's how you think of them as, feels very wrong in some way. So just I think that, and then like you get to the text messages, it's very cold almost, but also that's kind of how dads sometimes are with their children, that they don't really know how to relate to them through that way. So like it all feels very relatable, and like this is sometimes how dysfunctional families work, and you understand how everybody got to the situation, but it sucks from all ends, and you feel Tulip's pain here. So I really love this scene because I think it's very realistic with all characters involved.
I think like I agree with a lot of what you just said, Alex, but the thing that throws a little bit of a wrench in that is if she casually asked one day to go to coding camp, they said, oh yeah, sure, and then the plans didn't work out and they're like, sorry, but like, stuff happens, that would be one thing. But this contract implies like at least a semester's worth of work that she put in. So that also implies that they knew how excited she was about this. She was coding her own games for it. She's talking about with her friend. Her friend knows it's a big deal to her. If it's this culminating thing that they have been talking about presumably for months, it doesn't make sense that they would be so like chill about it not working out, because you would think they would know how important it was just because it's been building for so long. That's the part that I don't understand. Like if it was a casual thing they agreed to, yeah, like it is messy and yeah, they have their reasons and that's sad. But like, I feel like I'm more inclined to side with Tulip's frustration because this is a thing that had been an expectation and agreement for a while. Like, again, they signed a contract. Mm-hmm. That's not subtle. That's like a pretty serious commitment.
Did they say sign a contract, or is Michelle and
No. They
signed
a contract on the fridge.
They show a contract on the fridge. And I think that this show is framing it for you to sign with Tulip, right?
Yeah.
And this kind of shows like parents treat things with a different seriousness than children see something serious. Like think of it like a kid bringing you a contract. You're like, oh, okay, this kid is trying to take it seriously and all. So like you can totally see parents being like not treating it the way that a kid would treat something like that. So you got your different perspectives there, and us seeing from the outside, it's like, well, that's terrible. Why would you do that? But also like you can totally think like, okay, my family probably would not have taken that as seriously as I would have. So it's like, it's a very messy situation, which reflects messy families.
Yeah, I think it did a great job of portraying like realistic and both sides, and we're supposed to side with Tulip, and I think all that was great, and you guys did a good job with that. I also think later on the scene we see Tulip coding this game, and this is another big aspect of her character that we see. It's like she's basically doing Space Invaders, which is are we supposed to believe that Tulip invented Space Invaders, or is she making her own version of Space Invaders, Sam?
She invented it.
Tulip is the origin.
She's one of the forerunners of the video gaming industry.
Is this in the past, or is is this an alternate?
Yes.
Is this an alternate world where no one invented Space Invaders and then she did?
Well, Dylan, it's like how old is she? Like 12, 13? She's not trying to reinvent she's not trying to reinvent the wheel here. She's just trying to make something of her own. I mean,
well, not even, because she has a book about learn how to code well by that old guy.
So she's learning, and if you have to learn by beginning to code Space Invaders, it's fine. She could do other things in the future. She could.
Yeah, I think it makes sense if she's learning the game from the book. She calls it Good Guys Poppin' Bad Guys, though, is the name of her game, and it's the good guy and it's the bad guy.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go. And that the guy on the book, he can finally afford to have the ferret removed from his face.
I like
that was a good joke. It establishes that Tulip has a sense of humor, and I like that.
It's good, yeah. But yeah, I just love seeing Tulip code. She like pulls up a text editor and like coding on the screen, and it's just really wonderful.
Was that like a Windows 2000, or like what OS was she using there?
Probably, yeah. Maybe she just got the old computer.
Maybe Windows 2000 is nostalgic to somebody who worked on the show.
Windows XP, maybe it's like
Windows
blue.
XP.
Yeah, I really, really love that Tulip is like a coder, and she's going to the code camp, and she's making a game.
She's a gamer girl.
She is a gamer girl.
But I don't know. I just haven't really seen many kids coding in any media, and as
OKKO.
myself,
Dendy.
okay, that's good.
That's true.
Yeah, Dendy. Yeah. I feel like in Gumball, that had like a really great coding scene at some point. I love this as like a premise of her character. It's like they're like building traits around it. And I love that she's like making a game, and it's all fantastic. Personally connecting a lot with it myself.
She's gonna like put her game on Steam. It's gonna be really popular, and we're all gonna love it.
And then she's put on Steam in the comments, be like, "This is just Space Invaders." She's gonna be like, no, people hate my game.
Different. They're called good guys popping bad guys. It's totally original idea.
Oh my! Well, people put up different. You know what? I was on Steam the other day, and I was looking up versions of Solitaire. There's like 50 billion versions of Solitaire, and people still give it good reviews. So I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, and to be fair to Tulip, even in like my college game design elective course, my group just made like a Tetris knockoff. Like it's still like this is like so I cheesed it like a kid. So yeah, this is fine. It's just weird that we didn't reference it actually being Space Invaders, but I also like her calling it good guys bad guys. That was charming too. What else we got? I feel like this is most things now. But I think it's a strong introduction to Tulip's character. Strong introduction to 1-1. We haven't really met the other mains other than that. And we talked about all the mythology stuff. At the end, she's asked, is there a conductor? He'd be at the engine, says 1-1, and says, I'm getting off this train to end the episode. We'll see. Probably not
like
for a while.
Paper Mario and the 1,000-Year Door, where they have
Why?
That's a spoiler, Sam. I want to play that game someday.
Michelle, you're talking about like a 10-year-old game.
Are you not that old? 10 years?
It's like 16 years old.
I think it's more than 10
So
years.
is this like the Pit of 100 Trials, but horizontal except the vertical?
Stop.
I meant, there's like a train level in that game, and like you have to go to the engine room and then like kill all the bad things.
The engine is the connector.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is our first objective: is go to the engine room. So we'll see. There you go. Okay. Alex, closing thoughts on the Infinity Train pilot.
So that the first episode. That moment when the logo of the show comes in is like Tulip's leaving her house and like the big synth kicks in. I'm like, oh yes, like there's something about like the heavy synth is just like this is perfect for this show. Like all like the previous promos that they've been doing, like the 15 seconds of just the logo unraveling and that music going was already enough to be like, okay, I'm in. So like just seeing that show finally was like, yeah. Now, anyways, so music is going to be great. The tone of this episode is very much my jam. Tulip is definitely a highlight. I haven't said much about 1-1. I'm going to say that if there's a weak point of this first episode, it's kind of him, just because like I didn't get much of the jokes that he was doing. I'm fine with like the dark humor side of him. I think the light side was not very memorable.
Really?
But
I felt the opposite, honestly.
I think you're going to see a lot of 1-1 is like the highlight of the premiere takes. You're going to see a lot of that.
So like I want to be like, I'm not totally into that, but I can see him getting better in that episode. So I'm just, if there's a weak point of the first episode for me, it would be that. But everything else works very well, and the emotional stuff works, and I'm just really excited to follow this train all the way to the station of the season finale. Yeah, hype train.
Does the train have a station?
All aboard.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, Sam, final thoughts.
I have a couple. Okay, so hot takes, cold foods, onions.
Yes.
I personally would not eat an onion like that. I don't think a lot of people would eat an onion like that. It's kind of no.
Shrek would.
Because he is an onion.
And you know what? Tulip wears green.
Her inner Shrek.
Don't try to Shrek this show.
I think Tulip was directly inspired by Shrek.
No, definitely not.
Please make a subreddit devoted to that theory, Alex. You have the power.
Tulip has layers.
Oh, goodness gracious. I like onions just fine. I like them on things. They taste good. I like them with cheese. So there's that. I do agree that 1-1 was a weak part, but for me it was more the dark 1-1 as opposed to the lighter 1-1, you know what I mean? The one that sounds like Maurice LaMarche. Citation needed on it, who voices him. Anyway.
It's like two brothers with the last name Crutchley.
Yeah, he sounds like Maurice LaMarche to me. Anywho. I think that's it for the numbered list, but overall, I'm excited. I kept when this was in the pilot stage, I kept getting it confused with 12 Forever, which is also coming out very soon.
Yeah, 12 Forever.
So I was like, what show is which? I don't know. Question mark. I wasn't really planning on watching it today, but I'm glad that I did because, like, this is the new show that I'm gonna watch because it doesn't necessarily replace, like, Steven and stuff. And those things are kind of going off the air nowadays. But it's kind of like, oh, I found a show that I have a connection with, whether it be emotionally with, like, Tulip, or I just like Ashley Johnson who voices her a lot. Or whether it be, like, the mystery. Like, I'm really excited about the mystery now that we've talked about it on the podcast. I really got my mental gears going and kind of wondering, oh, I wonder what this is going to be like, or this. And I think that's something that really draws me in. So I'm excited to keep watching Infinity Train in the future.
Nice. I'm surprised you liked it so much.
Wow.
I think that's, like, speaks really well to how strong the premiere is and, like, what the potential future of the show. Because I feel like this isn't, like, your traditional type of show. And I feel like among all the people that were here, and Sarah had it out early, but we have a lot of, like, differing tastes, I guess, and all, and there's a lot of positive feelings. So I think this, like, I think maybe more people are going to connect to the show than I thought originally.
And Sam has the least positive of feelings of anything
in general. Okay, so that's good.
I have very specific tastes that don't really get seen too much in animation.
Yeah, and this is hitting on. I guess there's a lot of different things that this first episode hit on, and that's great. And connected to a lot of them. Okay, Michelle, final thoughts.
I really want to see someone else on the train now to add a lot of context to this. I'm actually a lot more high on it now. I'm super into theorizing about what everything means.
Yeah. That'll be the really fun part of the show.
Exactly. And I'm also very curious to see what the tone of the next couple episodes are, and if we keep this kind of high momentum of spookiness and intrigue going, or if it kind of slows down for a bit. Mm-hmm. And that's going to affect my overall opinion of the show later too. So yeah, like, hopefully the momentum stays strong, but I will reserve judgment until then.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what those episodes 2 to 5 are like. And if this is like a standard Cartoon Network show with, like, 40 episodes in its first season or something, it's like, how do you sustain this for so many episodes? That's going to be the big question, I think. I mean, maybe it's not. Maybe it's just like more of like a 13 to 20 season type thing. And it's 11 episodes, so it's like a different 11-minute episode. So it's that affects the numbers and stuff. But it'd be like, you could totally, like, if this was a miniseries, you'd be like, obviously this is going to be fantastic. If it's like a whole show, that's like, I want, like, that better. I want this to be on the air for a while and to us to be able to enjoy it for a long time. But I think it's going to be interesting how this plays as an entire series. But at the very least, this premiere was, I think, really fantastic, much better than I thought it could have been. It really was. I'm very high on 1-1. I love all the sides of 1-1 in this episode.
Me too. I enjoyed 1-1 a lot. And I usually don't like side characters because I think they're pretty pointless, but he's very
Michelle, is 1-1 the Kevin of the show?
No,
come on.
1-1 is
okay.
That's a whole other thing. I would say 1-1 is going to be much more universally loved, and
was like the hue of
he has two personalities, so he already is like twice a person. I think he's probably ultimately better than Kevin, but Kevin's great still.
Okay, we'll dive onto this into the next Final Space podcast. So Michelle just spoke negatively.
I did not speak negatively. I'm just trying to be holistic here.
Okay.
Wow.
High takes on 1. Yeah, I like 1-1 was great. The whole episode is great. Very, very excited for the next episodes of Infinity Train. We'll be covering them in some form here at the Overly Animated Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to us at overlyanimated.com. I'll make an Infinity Train iTunes feed. If that's, you could check if that's made. It'll be listed on the right side of the site when it's up. And you could subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/overlyanimated, on search for us on Spotify as well there. We've already got the Infinity Train channel going on our Discord. Come talk about all our theories there at overlyanimated.com/Discord for the invite link. And then you can consider supporting us via Patreon at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to all our current patrons, especially our patron of the podcast, Beatrice, aka Beatrix Cavendish. And thanks as always to our patron executive producers, Ryan, Steve, Alex, Beatrice, Hugh, and Michael. Yep. So we'll sometime within, I don't know if we'll do it on every day in August, at the very least at the end of the weeks, but we'll see about that. So we'll be back to talk more Infinity Train. Thanks for listening, guys. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.